Marc Normandin writes for a website called overthemonster.com and covers the Red Sox. And he joins us once again this morning here on Sports Buzz on the Pulse Network. Here is the OTM article about Francona to leave the Red Sox with a question mark there. Mark, are you surprised at all about this situation and everybody saying that he's out?
I guess I'm surprised it happened so quickly, but then again, there are only 10 days to pick up the options as well. So from all indications, it sounds like Francona wanted a resolution quickly.
Let's talk about if you and I were the owners of the Red Sox, would you have handled this situation the same way? Someone has to pay for the biggest collapse, the worst collapse in baseball history. That's what it is. Someone has to pay for that. It has been 8 years. Terry Francona himself stepped to a podium yesterday and intimated that this clubhouse is divided and there are problems that he couldn't address as manager. I mean, it sort of leaves you as a boss with no choice, doesn't it?
In some ways, but I mean, it sounds like if I were Terry Francona, I'd kind of want out too. So I guess I understand from both perspectives what's going on here. It does seem a little odd that ownership is so happy to let him go, if that's the case, though, you know, instead of trying to convince him to stay or anything.
So Theo Epstein, his future is very much in doubt here because baseball lore and sports lore tells you that you hire your general manager and he generally picks the manager. Tito was his guy. And now Tito's going to be gone, and it might be Tito's request. There's a lot at play here. Theo Epstein is John Henry's guy, has been so much so that when Theo left, John Henry went running through the streets to bring him back, basically, with or without the gorilla suit. What do you think is going to happen with Theo Epstein, Mark? What does your gut tell you?
I would say that he's going to stick. We don't know how long his extension is for, but he signed one kind of recently. I kind of expect him to at least give it another year. I really don't see him going anywhere. I kind of figure that, you know, if they do well next year and kind of wash the taste of 2011 out of everyone's mouth, that everyone will forget that there was ever a time that, you know, we weren't sure if Theo was coming back.
And now with the Red Sox, seemingly it's a fait accompli. Terry Francona will be gone. Now with a team that has a huge payroll, probably going to have a new manager. Probably, I agree with you, by the way, I think Theo Epstein's back for at least this year, but who knows? So they're definitely going to have new leadership. But let's talk about two of the biggest names on this team that are free agents now. And that's David Ortiz and Jonathan Papelbon. And let's start with Jonathan Papelbon. What do you think his future is?
You know, I've been slowly warming up to the idea of bringing Papelbon back on a reasonable deal. But at the end of the season, you know, he kind of went back to doing some of the things that Papelbon did that drove me so crazy in the past. You know, just trying to pump fastballs by guys instead of using his secondary stuff. I mean, the pitches that got him in trouble in that last game was just, oh, the 95-mile-per-hour fastball didn't work. Let me throw a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. You know, I was kind of hoping that was in the past. But with the state of the bullpen in general, they still might need to sign him. So there's a part of me that hopes that he does come back. I just hope it's not some kind of reliever mega deal. But then again, with the money that they have to work with over the offseason because of raises and the payroll they already have, they probably can't give him a gigantic reliever deal anyway.
I don't think there's any chance he's back. That's just my opinion. I think, you know, he's a free agent. And the Red Sox, like you said, are probably not going to overpay for him. They've done that with enough guys already, Lackey and Crawford being the latest. They don't, in their history, these new owners, they have never overpaid to keep one of their guys. You could make the argument David Ortiz at times. I just don't see a scenario where Jonathan Papelbon is back unless they overpay him.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's got to be a team out there somewhere that's going to give him some kind of Francisco Rodriguez type of deal with just, you know, one or two too many years and just a few $1 million too much each season. And Papelbon seems like a guy who's been looking forward to free agency pretty much since he was put in the bullpen.
Last thing for you, Mark. What do you think happens with David Ortiz?
You know, I think this is one of those things that's going to depend more on Ortiz, kind of like Papelbon, than it depends on the Red Sox. You know, they can make him the offer that they think is fair. They're probably not going to overpay to keep him. And the reason for that is just like last year where there were a lot of interlocking parts as far as free agency and who was going to stay and who was going to go. Like I mentioned earlier with Youkilis, I don't think he's a player who you can depend on for 150 games a year if he's playing in the field all the time. And, you know, it's just one of those things where Ortiz might not fit into the plans at the price that he's quoting, whether it be in years or in dollars.